Hello, it's Santeri Kallio from Amorphis, and I've created a signature sound bank to Roland JD-XA Hybrid Synthesizer. First of all, I have to say, I used to play with the Roland JD-800 when I was younger in the 90s. And first time I saw this instrument, I immediately thought that Roland has updated the legendary JD-800 to this date. And I have to say, it's a real powerhouse. It's a digital analog hybrid synthesizer with 4-voice analog part, and then God only knows how many parts there is in a digital part. But there's basically 4 parts with each with 3 partials where you can put the digital waves. And one interesting thing about this machine is that you can also drive the digital section through the analog filters. And there's plenty of options. There's a Moog type of filter and some other classics like Oberheim and stuff like that. And I tried to create a sound set which is built by sounds I like to find from synthesizers, sounds which are really creative, and sounds you have a lot of space to tweak, so these sounds won't be super complex, and they are not like a one push wibbly wobbly. Basically, there's no action at all. I think you can create your own arpeggios and stuff like that. I think it's not my thing. But these sounds are also very transferable to arpeggios or anything. But mainly I created a couple of pads to give inspiration for composing and to build atmospheres. Then there's a couple of a little bit more crazier ones, and then there's a hell of a lot of leads because I like to practice with the lead sounds, and they are also very inspirational. But let's run through this quickly. First pad is basically a string pad. I named it as a gladiator because it's really massive and atmospherical. Let's give it a listen. And the second one is kind of like a big pad made out of female ahs, if you know what I mean. It's kind of like a choir pad. I named it with like a choir organ. It's also funny. I put it to the modulation wheel. You can get some new age vibe maybe. Stuff like that. Oh, the third one is a JD String 2000. I probably should have put it JD String 3000. This is just due to the respect of the legendary JD-800, because I love the synth, and it's great that there's an updated version about it, because the point I got rid of it was that it started to sound a little bit outdated, a little bit too 90s. But I created a string pad here, which reminds me from the good old days of JD-800. Also added some attack strings for the modulation wheel. And there's a vintage strings, of course. It's in a TFX1 is if you don't like the vinyl scratches, is for the atmospherical stuff too. This is like reminds me from I tried to catch the mood from the 50s movies from Finland. You know, these horrible black and white movies, what they used to do. There's also a couple of filter options. You can even go to the 30s if you put the filter a little bit down. Then there's a fifth song, it's Antarctica. It's really hard to name the sounds, by the way. You haven't noticed. This is kind of this is just sound with a weird feeling, you know, and it's kind of, somehow it's dirty, but somehow it's beautiful. I think it's very inspirational. I don't know, but for me at least. Some funny things happen with the aftertouch. It opens up the analog motor, but you'll figure it out. And then there's sound number 6. It uses like sync between oscillators, and there's also a ring modulator and all kind of stuff. It sounds pretty cool. There's a lot of things you can do with the arpeggiator with this. Oh, then there's a classic Cembalyosis. I tried to find a name which represents like a symbiosis or metamorphosis, I don't know. And it's basically the starting point. It's like these home organs, at least I had in the early 80s. I think they were built in 70s, you know, like a classic harpsichord sound with the analog touch. Waveform, so it starts to sound like a power metalish maybe. Yeah, it's kind of funny sound. Then there's the Dare bass. I love it. It's some sort of a weird mixture of waveforms, but it's good for crossover kind of bass from the 90s. Like that's why the name is in German. I think it's good for the German bass lines, you know. You can also add a low end from the mod wheel. Then we go to the lead section. Oh, there's still one more. This is like a funky sound. The name is Gut Funk because it's this pretty difficult sound to play because there's so much key velocity in the filter. But I think it's a lot of it's inspirational, as I said. Funky time. A classic lead, you know, which you can use in any kind of music, mostly metal, but it depends. Like that. 8-bit lead. I think it's kind of like a game music lead. It reminds me from the good old days of Commodore Amiga and C64. But it's a great lead sound, and it really pushes through from the music because there's also ring modulator, sync, and pulse width is controlled by other oscillator, but. Then I named it a horror lead because when you put the octave down, it could be used in a low-grade home movie. With the envelope, with this kind of sound. Then there's the funk lead. I love these kind of sounds. It uses the auto filter, I think. Pretty funny. It's now in a mono mode, but it also works in a polyphonic mode when you press the poly stack and take off the funky stuff. Sorry about the digital, it's still a mono. Then there's a CutThruLead. A little bit reminds me from the lead sounds I used in Amorphis' new album Queen of Time. It's pretty wet. You can maybe reduce the effects, but it cuts through the music. Very nice also in arpeggio mode. Oh, it's not that nice. Okay, let's put it. And then there's a classic SawToothLead, like saw waveform, fat kind of stuff, you know. It's definitely a reminder from the JD-XA. works probably pretty well with 80s music also. Oh, sorry about that. I ran out of battery from the camera. That's what happens when keyboard players try to play the video guy. Anyway, last sound but not the least is called Der Lead. It's derived from the Der Bass earlier listened in the presentation, and this is great sound. It also, there's a lot of filter action in the modulation wheel. It's very aggressive and very good lead sound. Thank you for watching. Please check out this sound bank. It's pretty cool and it's a little bit different. And hopefully you had fun. I certainly did. And you can download this sound bank from Roland JD-XA website and enjoy the ride.